Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. Um, I, uh, I talk a lot about politics, and people don't get a lot of the stuff that I talk about, and I wanna clarify some of it, and I don't want to sound like a know-it-all because I'm not. I don't know everything. If I did, I could fix stuff, but I don't. All I know is bits and pieces. But there's a lot of this little bits of information that are floating around that a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people need to be aware of. Okay, I talk a lot of crap about Democrats. I call them demon craps because virtually every Democrat politician is evil. And I'm not talking about your average Democrats walking in the street. Most of them are good people. Okay, most of them are upstanding, caring people. They care too much, probably. That's their fault. They're good people. But let's talk about the flip side. There's a lot of Republicans out there that are not good either. Okay. I'm going to illustrate this with a cute little story. Those of you who know me know I run Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with my family, and I used to run a bunch of friends in D&D. And I've played for years. I started playing back when it was called Chainmail, and I kept going through the Dungeons and Dragons. I started running games in 1980. I am an old fart. I've played for a long time. My most successful D&D game ran for 14 straight years. And people would come and go and blah 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 blah. Okay. Let's make a hypothetical here. The little town where we played this game. Let's say that the members of my D&D group that played, my friends got together, we played tabletop role playing. Let's say the members of my D&D group started getting elected to public office, pretty regular, and held other positions of power around town. And let's say 50 to 60% of the power players in the town were members of my D&D group. And to get into this group, you have to be, wealthy, handpicked. I didn't let just anybody come and play, but I picked them. They got to be wealthy, they got to be well connected, and they ended up running the town pretty much. Would that not raise some people's suspicions? I mean, if I was not running that game and that was happening, I would be suspicious of that game, of the people in that game, the secrets behind it. I would like to know exactly what they discussed in there, that kind of thing. All right, perfectly reasonable, right, to suspect that. Well, there's a club similar to that. They don't play D&D that I'm aware of. At least if they do, they give D&D players a bad name. This is at Yale University. The name of this group is called the Skull and Bones Society. These people have been around a long time. They predate the Civil War, as I understand it, back in the 1830s. That's when it was started. It's called the Order 322. If that's not ominous enough, I don't know what is. They apparently, according to the story, they take a blood oath for everybody that's in there to help each other get ahead. It's like a good old boys club, but with very sinister ramifications. I talk about it in my book, The Righteous President. Many of their members have attained very, very powerful positions in our nation. Some of them even became president. Okay? These are rich, powerful people, all belonging to the same club. And guess what? The club's not Republican. The club's not Democrat. It's not political. It's political, but it's not politically oriented. Both sides have members. Republicans and Democrats both have belonged to this club. As a matter of fact, George Bush was running against John Kerry. Both of them are bonesmen. Both of them. No matter who you elected, there was a bonesman going to be sitting in the Oval Office. If that's not scary, I don't know what is. Keep in mind, these people as I understand it, take a blood oath for loyalty to each other. Okay? Other prominent members. William Howard Taft was President of the United States. Wilbur Franklin Booth. Thomas Cochrane of J.P. Morgan and Company. Alfred Gwynn Vanderbilt. Percy Rockefeller. Harold Stanley of Morgan Stanley. Charles Seymour. He's a founding member of the Council on Foreign Relations. I talk about them in The Righteous President as well. Albert De Silva, co-founder of the ACLU. Averell Harriman brothers. Prescott Bush. Baby Bush, Daddy Bush's daddy. Prescott Bush, I talk about him in The Righteous President as well. He was instrumental in the business plot. Look that up. The business plot. Yeah. That'll curl your hair. E. Roland Harriman brothers. George Herbert Walker Jr., uncle to George Herbert Walker Bush. Oh, there's a bunch. Hang on. Let me flip the page. William F. Buckley Jr. This guy did he's a founder of the National Review. A lot of people don't know it. He was also a CIA agent. Winston Lord, chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, both of those presidents, bonesmen. Okay. Austin Goolsbee, financial advisor to Barack Hussein Obama. Yes. Now, I don't think Obama was a bonesman, but he sure had a lot of bonesmen working for him, let me tell you. Now, and there's a lot more. This is by no means a complete list. The list is long. I mean, if you printed it out, it would take up pages and pages of members. These are American politics, athletes, ambassadors, businessmen, journalists, military members. It's a who's who. Okay? It's what it is. And these people run our lives. All right? But nobody's investigating the bonesman. Now, people go, well, that's just a conspiracy theory. Well, you know what? If it's a conspiracy theory, why can't you ask questions about it? There was a prominent journalist on television who was asking questions about, well, when Kerry and Bush were running, they asked them both, are you a member of the Skull and Bones? What can you tell us about it? Blah, blah, blah. What about the Order 322? And blah, blah. That guy ended up dead. I mean, I don't know. Again, we don't know if it was natural or murder or whatever, but he's dead. He was asking those questions. Shortly thereafter, he died. Draw from that what you will. Now, a little closer to home. Senator John Kerry was making a speech. And there was a person in the audience who was an amateur journalist. At least I think so. And he asked a question, is it true, Senator Kerry, you were a member of the Skull and Bones? He was right there, and you can Google this yourself. He was arrested, and he was tased. Okay? For asking a question. If it's ludicrous, they should have laughed at him and went on. They tased him and arrested him for asking a question. You want to find out who's running things? Find out who you can't question. Find out who you can't talk about. Find out who you can't criticize. Those are the people that you got to watch out for. Okay? In this country, we have the First Amendment. That amateur journalist was protected by the First Amendment. Okay? If he didn't sue the piss out of them, he should have. Okay? And you can, if don't believe me, Google this yourself. Go to YouTube and type in "man tased for asking question." I'm being serious. Dave Chappelle did a funny stand-up routine about it. Isn't it true, Senator Kerry, that you were a member of the Skull and Crossbones? You're right back there. You know, I can't do it like him. I'm not a comedian, but you understand my point. This is not a conspiracy theory. These people are real. They all belong to the same club. It ain't Republicans. It ain't Democrats. These are just, in my opinion, bad people. And they're running our lives. Y'all got to be aware of that stuff. All right? Okay. And I promise you, none of my D&D players ever ascended to political office that I'm aware of. Okay? Most of them are good guys. You know, there's little clunky ones in every group, but most of them are good guys. All right. You folks have a good day. God bless. Oh, Arcane Gaming. We're doing our D&D games live. Me, my wife, and my son. Check them out. I'll have a good day. God bless one and all.